Hello and welcome to another audio analysis. In today's video, we'll be taking a look at the track Next Semester by the American musical duo 21 Pilots. This is the second track to be released from their upcoming 7th studio album titled Clancy, which is due to land on May 17th, and we've already got to hear Overcompensate, a track which really talks about those errors in life and not ignoring those warning signs, but on that aspect it also gave us an introduction to the themes we'll be seeing across the course of this upcoming album. We will see Clancy making his VAT return after we believed he was dead following Scaled and Icy, whereas actually this is going to be his final chapter. We did see that with the music video for Overcompensate. It'll be really interesting to see where the band continue to take the story going forward. So will this latest track make the grade or be held back a year? Let's take a look at exactly how it sounds.
Certain things, what I was wearing, the yellow dashes in the street. I prayed those lights would take me home. Then I heard, hey kid, get out of the road. I don't wanna be here, I don't wanna be here. Can't feel my legs, might suffocate. There's a pressure in my chest. I don't wanna be here, I don't wanna be here. What's about to happen? What's about to happen? I remember certain things. What I was wearing, the yellow dashes in the street. I prayed those lights would take me home.
Okay, definitely seeing a very garage-inspired, almost slightly punkish rock sound really coming from the band. I was not expecting this after the very interesting horn sounds and things like that we did here on Overcompensate. It's a massive flip of the switch, but I really love the way that they continue to show their ability to dive into something very different. It's almost the sort of song I'd expect to hear on Scott Pilgrim vs. the World. That very 2000s, almost indie sound in some elements as well, very reminiscent of things like The Strokes and a variety of others that were very prominent around that time. And we can really see with this track how it has that kind of youthfulness to it. Very quick, very powerful delivery really coming through, especially on that bass line, certainly really coming through very strong, very thick, very fast, and that really helps to add to this kind of image that we do often see around garage music or around that punkish sound. It's tended to be tied to rebellion and youthfulness, and we can see that coming through in the verses as well. The idea of next semester, being still in school or college, kind of aiming to that next portion of your life. That idea of can't break down, graduate now. So it's really looking at the anxiety that people face around that time of kind of going from adolescence into adulthood. And it's something that we've actually seen Tyler Joseph really reference, the point where he's now at the point in life where he has kids and things like that, and his life's kind of going in a very interesting direction, and he kind of looks back on that youthfulness very fondly and looking at some of the difficulties he faced. So he can really be tying that to kind of the youthful population of today. The idea of I don't want to be here, I don't want to be here, it's a taste test. So we're just referencing this idea of kind of not wanting to live in modern age with the way things are. Can you die of anxiousness? Asking these questions that you may put into Google to ask yourself what's about to happen, what's about to happen. So kind of that fear of going into that next stage of life of what comes after college. You're not necessarily prepared for the adult life. And even as we go into the chorus where we do have, again, these very upbeat, springy sounds, despite the fact that it's quite a dark track effectively. I remember certain things, what I was wearing, the yellow dashes in the street. I prayed those lights would take me home. So the fact that you're effectively hoping to get ran over, for your life to be ended, and you're ascending into these bright lights. So you're just going into the afterlife. You don't want to be here anymore. And that message really coming through. Then I heard, "Hey kid, get out of the road." So I like this playfulness that's coming from the band, with just some of these kind of spoken ideas on the lyrics. Again, scattered around with this very quick delivery we've really got coming through. The idea of, I can't feel my legs, I might suffocate, there's a pressure in my chest. That anxiety really being driven through on many of these lyrics, that fear of the unknown. And that's really seems to be what they're going to look at with this album. Although it's going to have that story of Clancy in his final chapter, it's really looking at kind of moving through life and facing those fears, and kind of getting to that point where you have to tackle certain things, and life is always worth continuing to live, no matter how bad or how anxious you may feel. But I really love the way they're really incorporating this youthfulness through this track, through the sound and also the lyrics.
It's a taste test of what I hate less. I don't wanna be here. Start fresh with a new year.
Okay, I'm not going to lie, I was not expecting the song to go that way, but I actually really like the way we see the return of the ukulele for a multitude of reasons. I really like that outro because of the way it kind of looks at that idea of sometimes you have to take a step back, slow things down, and really just take stock of what your options are. When you're kind of young, you're going through life, you're very rebellious, you're kind of living in the moment and really kind of charging at things with a very quick pace. Where when you head into adulthood, you do have to effectively slow things down. You can't live your life partying every weekend and going out and just going crazy. Things do kind of have to take stock. So I really like the way they kind of incorporated that metaphorically through the change in style, the use of the ukulele softening things down, slowing them down, rather than building to this raucous crescendo. So we did see that with Overcompensate as well, the idea of kind of not ignoring the warning signs and correcting your life later on when it's too late. And this song seems to very much do the same, again through some very clever metaphors, looking at that youthfulness, that idea of next semester when things can change, kind of turning the page in your life. So it's a metaphor for how you can go into that new page of a book effectively and start things over. And we really see that come through on that refrain. Can't change what you've done, start fresh next semester. So you've got a chance to kind of scrap everything that you have done. You can't change that, that's in the past, but move forward into the future with that renewed vigor. So I really like the way they brought that in the refrain, that inclusiveness with these woes and ohs really coming through to kind of show that inclusiveness in the video as well, that everybody's potentially in that same boat and you are not alone in the way that you do feel. Something that we really see through the idea of mental health and things like that is kind of people coming together and relying on each other for support, and also kind of talking continually through that refrain of can't change what you've done. It's a very key message that really comes through, and I like they kind of save it for the end of the song rather than jamming it in constantly in the chorus. It's only used in the refrain. The idea of that next semester, starting that next chapter in your life and starting afresh, just kind of putting the past behind you. So I really like the way they just brought the ukulele in to really emphasize that really strong moment. And whilst this song doesn't quite necessarily have the same kind of impact that we did see with Overcompensate in terms of the Clancy storyline, it could still reference back to that, the idea of he can't change what he's done in the past and the kind of wars that he's fought, but he can change his tune going forward and kind of tackle something with that renewed vigor again. So it can still slightly tie in with the theme that we did see on that opening track, but I certainly feel this is another one that really looks at life, and certainly from Tyler Jones' perspective, the way that his life has progressed to the point where he's kind of accepted that life has slowed down a little bit, and he can kind of look back on his past and kind of has moved on to that next era, that next semester where things are slightly different. So there we have it, the next semester in the band's discography. But I would love to know your thoughts about this track in the comments section below. How do you feel about the very heavy change that we did see from Overcompensate, and did you like some of the musical choices they did make, going from that rockacious punk garage rock into something much softer at the end of the track? Or do you think there's any other hidden meanings that I did miss in this track that really spoke to you? I really would love to know your thoughts. Also, if you would like to see more 21 Pilots content, I have covered the previous track, Overcompensate, in a separate video, so you can find a link to that in the description of this one. And if you would like to see more content like this overall, then please do feel free to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next audio analysis.